Hello my people, and welcome to the latest and greatest episode of my mountain review series.
I want to say mountains again! Mountains! FinerBub.
Today we're hiking Mount Isolation via the Rocky Branch Trail, the Isolation Trail, and Davis Path. A wet and sloppy yet oh so beautiful day hike in New Hampshire's White Mountains. But before we get into that, just a little tidbit for those of you who don't know. On this channel, I'm all about sharing my thoughts and experiences on the best spots to check out and the best gear to bring with. So if, like me, you want to spend more time outside appreciating the finer things in life, do yourself a favor and consider subscribing. Also, feel free to check out the description below for links to any of the gear or information resources I mention. Alrighty then, without further ado, let us begin. So, a few summers ago, I met up with my dad and youngest brother for 4 days of hiking 4,000 footers in New Hampshire's White Mountain National Forest. I'll leave links in the video description if you want to check out the other hikes we did on this trip, but as I said before, today we're talking about Mount Isolation. So, on the morning of the 4th day of the trip, we left the Joe Dodge Lodge where we were staying and headed towards the trailhead at the Rocky Branch North parking area on New Hampshire Route 16. The plan was to hike the 7.2 miles to the peak and back. The first section is a 3.7 mile stretch along the Rocky Branch Trail. The initial ascent is pretty similar to what you might expect from most other hikes in the area. The trail is relatively dry with a few rocks to trip over here and there, but yeah, it's pretty mild for the most part. Once you cross over the Rocky Branch Mountain Ridge and cross into the Dry River Wilderness, the trail starts to flatten out until you make it to the Isolation Trail. This is the section that will really slow you down. The trail crisscrosses over the Rocky Branch a few times, but even when the trail is not zigzagging across the river, most of this 2.6 mile trail still feels like a slippery river walk where you have to hop from rock to rock, making it hard to build up a consistent pace. So even though the section is pretty short, it takes a while because all the rocks had a nice layer of slippery slime. The trail starts to dry out after it turns uphill, away from the river and towards Davis Path. This little section had some truly beautiful scenery. This last section before the peak is pretty exposed, similar to many ridge walks in New Hampshire. So even though we were sweating for most of the hike and just shorts and a t-shirt, we had to break out the windbreakers as soon as we popped out above the tree line. After finding the peak, we ate lunch and headed back down the way we came. All in all, the route we took from the Rocky Branch North parking lot to the peak of Mount Isolation and back made for a solid 14.4 mile day. The trails have a good mix of different types of hiking terrain and some incredibly beautiful scenery that make the slower miles a lot more enjoyable. Not to mention the incredible view of the presidential range from the top. Once we made it back down to the bottom, my dad welcomed my brother into the New Hampshire 4,000 footer club with a knighting ceremony for the ages, after which we said our goodbyes and went our separate ways. And that's really all there is to it. So there you have it, folks. I want to wish a very warm welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. If this is the first video of mine that you've seen, I just want to let you know that I also make gear review videos in addition to the hiking guides like this one. So if you're curious about some of the gear I used for this trip, or you just want to learn about some more exciting new places via yours truly, I'll leave some links down below that should suit you quite nicely. Alrighty, my people, that concludes this episode of the FinerBub Show. If you've already hiked Mount Isolation, or if you're planning on checking it out for the first time, or if you have any ideas for where I should go next, I'd love to have you comment below, especially if you think your insight can help me disprove something that I think I already know. But before you do, I just want to thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're planning your next trip or looking for new gear, don't let the small details stress you out. Remember, life's an adventure. So relax, breathe in the outdoors, and don't forget to appreciate the finer things in life. See you out there, people. Peace.